The transition from lunar side to solar side reckoning introduces the most vital component of lunar-solar calendars. 12 moon months of 29.5 days each count 354 days for a lunar year. The difference between a 365-day solar year and the 354-day lunar year is 11 days of lunar-solar separation time in equation 2. In order for the lunar side to keep up with the solar side of the calendar, 11 days of lunar-solar separation time must be accounted for every year. Human spirituality combines religious history with lunar-solar calendar observation. This is the ancient link to men and women. Female fertility cycles have always been associated with the moon. The moon and monthly periods are represented by Eve, who was mother to all the living. On the other side of the lunar-solar time channel, men were associated with daylight and the sun. Primitive theology assigned roles having male traits or masculinity with the standing stones of the Old Testament. The Baals were pagan deities that were identified by sacred pillars, which also marked the rising and setting positions of the sun on the horizon. For a society dependent on agriculture, the pregnant female Astaroth watched over neighboring farms and groves. We are applying literal Hebrew meanings to some scriptures. For example, when God first divided day and night, he separated or came between daylight and darkness. Lunar solar calendar systems were built by expanding the idea of lunar solar separation time. The lunar side of the calendar refers to those times measured according to the moon. The solar side refers to those times measured according to the sun. A 365-day solar calendar year is the most common calendar instrument throughout all of history and the companion to lunar time keeping. The modern calendar rounds solar side reckoning to either 365 days or 366 days during leap years. Ancient people were often aware of the minor leap day fraction, and generally lunar solar calendars were based upon sighting new crescent moons. Lunar solar calendar tools are developed to aid our reasoning. The time split actually is a very old concept that simply divides 11 days of lunar solar separation time by 2. To maintain calendar complete days, whole numbers were used for computations. The time split tool occurs at the 360-day midpoint for any lunar solar calendar year.